I'm Jeff O'Keefe. I'm the executive director of Zen Peacemakers, and I think I recognize folks. I think some of you have been in some of our other sessions, and we started this series. We call it Core Trainings. Here comes quite a few people. We call this Core Trainings, and what we wanted to do, we have a Zen Peacemaker Order 2-year formation program. It's quite a commitment. It's weekly for 2 years. And that's kind of a high bar for everybody. We wanted to be able to offer the very most fundamental Zen Peacemaker practices and concepts easily to a broad range of people. So we came up with this core training program, and we offer an introduction, as we're going to do today, to counsel, one to the 3 tenets, one to meditation, and one to the unique approach to peacemaking that is Zen Peacemakers. And we wanted to make these easy. They're free. They're 1 hour. You can take. There's no prerequisite. You can attend all of them. There's one a month, and so that's how we got here. So welcome to that, and please do look in on the other ones as well. The 4 of them form a really nice foundation for Zen Peacemakers. So I want to hand this over to my good friend, Roshi Barbara Wegmuller, who's going to take us into an introduction to counsel today. And Barbara, thank you so much for doing this. And thank you all for joining and being part of this. Adrian and Rosa, nice to see you. Mary, hi, there you are. Barbara, I'm going to mute myself and hand it over.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to share this wonderful practice with you. And I welcome you here warmly. I am here in Bern, and there is just a thunderstorm coming. So it's quite dark around me already, even if it is summertime. So here in Switzerland, in Bern now, it is 6 in the evening, and some of you are in the morning and some of you are in the afternoon. So welcome to this sharing about counsel. When I met my teacher, Roshi Burney, in 2000, it was very, very important for him that we all trained deeply in this practice. So I had the chance to get a lot of different counsel trainers where they offered in different way the basic of this practice of listening from the heart and sharing from the heart. And of course, this is a very, very old practice for us as human beings, because when we started to have fire, I think people sat around a fire, they warmed up there, and when they had language, they started to share. They started to share their experiences because they didn't have writings at that moment. And so it was very important to share the stories so that next generation could give it also forward to their families, their tribes. And so people learned to listen deeply. And it's very important for us today also to go back to that and to listen maybe more than to speak. I think listening is one of the most important skills for peace. So first of all, I would really acknowledge my gratitude to all the native tribes who still do that as a deep practice to support their communities. I had the chance to be with native people in the US, First Nation peoples, and they shared with us that it was a deep, deep tradition for them always to share their stories in this way of counsel, but that they lost it also. So it was very interesting when we did a Zen Peacemaker retreat in Pine Ridge in the US, that we first of course, as white people, thanks them for their tradition, and they thanked us to remind them to it. And it was very moving to do counsel with them when we did retreats there. So also the Australian native people, the Aboriginals, they do counsel as their main spiritual practice. They are deep, deep listeners. They call it Tadiri. And they learn to listen, first of all, to the nature, to the earth, to the weather, to the wind, to the trees, to find their ways. It's so important for them to do that. And it's a natural capacity that they all have. They teach their children to really listen deeply. And so this is what we do when we do meditation. We listen first of all to how we are here, and maybe we can do that right now also, that you maybe be very aware now how you sit, you feel in your body. If you feel some tension somewhere, you try just to breathe and let go. And then you listen to your breath. Thank you. So this is always the start, also when we do counsel. It helps us to create a safe space for all of us. When we do counsel in person, it's wonderful to sit in a circle around. But it's also wonderful to meet on a screen as we do it now. So we also sit in a circle together. And this circle is a sacred space. So counsel is a sacred practice, and we have to be aware of it. We never do practice only for ourselves. We do it always for the well-being of all beings. With the intention, may all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings have shelter. And may all beings have food. In this, we sit with an open heart and with an open mind. We do counsel in reminding ourselves to the 3 tenets, which are very important in Zen Peacemakers. The first tenet is the not knowing. In this, we open our mind, just like doing a step backwards, and we are very aware in a very non-judgment way, without giving names, just be there with a very, very open mind. Everything can be, and we are just relaxed in this. And then we bear witness to what is alive in ourselves. What is alive in our heart? Because we have the chance to be just in this very moment, right now, where we can share in counsel. And we can even be surprised ourselves what comes up, because we don't have to think about, we don't have to prepare, we don't have to be very smart or spiritual. We can really just feel what is now alive in me, what do I want to share? And often we feel our heart a little bit pounding, and this is a moment where something is rising up who wants to be shared. So we never teach in counsel, we don't preach in counsel, and we never give answers or advices. So we don't go in communication. Would you like to ask something, Mary? No, this was only your hand. Ah, I see. Oh, be well soon. So we don't have to prepare. We can really just be in the moment and feel what is alive in our heart when we share it. And it helps us to have a talking piece. Like I have here my mala. And maybe you have something to grab now at your place, because it helps us to be grounded when we have something in our hand. And if we would meet in person, we would give this talking piece around. But because we are not in person, every one of us will have something to hold in the hand when it's our time to speak. In the middle of our circle, we always make a beautiful place to make us aware about the importance of our sharing. And so usually we put a cloth on the ground. We always have a candle. I have a candle here, and I will lighten it up when we will do our counsel here. And we usually also add the elements, like a little bowl with water, a bowl with earth, or some piece of wood, or whatever feels nice and important for you. So when you offer a counsel for others, you can also ask the participants to bring something to this place, to make it like our altar, where we will share our words as a gift to each other. In counsel, we can be free in the speech because it is completely confidential. So we will never speak about outside, and we don't also speak inside the council when the council finished with the people who joined the council. sometimes it is so that we were listening to something which was very important for us, maybe bothering us, maybe we just felt a big wish to share also something similar, or just come back to a conversation. If this is so, we have really to think about, why would I like to come back to that? And my dear Dharma brother Fleet Mall used to say, if you still after 30 years think it's important, then go back to the conversation. So it's really so that usually we just listen and we let it in the council. And this is a wonderful practice because it helps us in our daily life sometimes to hold something which sounds not so easy for us and just be with it and not go to respond immediately, and just respect the space of the person who says something, even we don't agree, or even we think it would be helpful or whatever to bring our ideas and opinions to it, or our heart ideas even. So it's really, it's a wonderful way to hold things in our heart and to let it cook. Of course, this is not always easy, especially if it is very different from how we feel or how we look at things or how it triggers us sometimes. But it's a good practice. And this practice is, in my experience, which is a long one, and with many, many different people, really a great, great basic way to grow up. So when I started to do it, we started with our big family. I have 4 children, and they were in different ages. When we got the youngest one, as 4th child, I got twins. So we had 4 boys and 1 daughter. And the youngest, the twins were they were around 5 when we started to do counsel in our family. Then the next one was 7.5. Then 2 teenagers in the age of 12 and 14. So it was a lot of energy in our family, you can imagine. And counsel really helped us to learn to listen to each other and to respect each other's diversity. Then I offered counsel trainings in schools, where we did counsel in circles with teachers and parents. So we did the counsel in 2 circles. First, the teachers outside and the parents inside. And the parents inside spoke about their needs and their joys and suffering to be parents of the children who went to these teachers to school. And then we changed, and the teachers came in the inner circle, and the teachers spoke about their needs, their joys and sufferings. And it was indeed very, very good. And then we did a lot of counsel, as I said, with Bernie. So we did counsel in retreats, in every retreat. We did it in working meetings. We did it as trainings of different seats. So we did it all the time. And what it means is that we really learn from each other in a much deeper way about the needs, about the wishes, about the beauty of everyone, and about our diversity and the beauty of diversity. And of course, in retreats after genocides or in a retreat like Auschwitz, which I led counsel for 24 years, always a week in Auschwitz-Birkenau, when we always have the council groups in the early morning. This is the only thing that we say people have really to join. In the Auschwitz retreat, there is often also a lot of freedom for participants. They don't have to follow the whole program if they don't want, but we always want to see people in the early morning sharing group in council, because this is the most important, that we can feel safe and we see the participants, we see how they are doing, and they can share how they are in very difficult moments sometimes. And the beauty of it is just that we feel that we are one body when we do these retreats, and that we all share our humanity together. In these retreats, it's especially important, of course, to learn to listen, because we listen to really different voices, different stories. We listen to children of victims of the Holocaust. In other retreats, children survivors of genocides. We listen to the suffering of the children of the so-called perpetrators. And we sit in one circle. And there is the part of listening most important, and also of sharing. Because we learn that suffering is just suffering from all the sides. And this brings us together and helps us to go on and to do our best. And to do that, this sharing is the third tenet, which comes out of the not knowing and our bearing witness. This is the healing action. And this happens very natural when we are together and when we really share from our heart, very honest. In this very moment, there is no separation. And this brings us back to this sacred space, which we create always together when we share in this way. And it shows that it is really a practice of peacemaking. And so I feel grateful, and I want to thank to all my teachers and to all the participants that I could listen to and be with them in all the circles that I joined in all these years. because I learned so much about the beauty of human beings. And so now I would love to go for a moment in a short council circle with all of you. And I hope we will have at the end maybe 10 minutes for you where you can ask questions or share some thoughts about. And so let's just start. Maybe first of all, I ask all of you to raise a hand if you have never did council until now. Noam and Mary, great, wonderful, welcome for the first time. That's great. And I see friends who are old, all participants in many circles, even friends of my Sangha in Spain. This is wonderful. Hey, Adriana and Rose. So, so as soon as I lighten the candle, the rules of council start. And because we never practice for ourselves, when I do that, you can invite someone or an energy or whatever you want to this council together. So you can, for example, invite the whole ocean because there is enough space. You can invite whatever you want, wisdom aspects, whatever you want to it. And at the end of the council, when the light is gone from the candle, we will do a dedication. So when we start, we always do an invitation, and when we end it, we do a dedication. Oh, let's see if you can see it. Here is our candle. So let's start with invitations. I would like to invite the energy of hope. And if you would like also to invite, please open your mic and jump in.
I would like to invite peace.
Thank you,
I'd like
Ted.
to invite a spirit of inclusiveness.
Thank
I'd like
you.
to invite my daughter, Megan.
I would like to invite the energy of love.
And I echo that as well. Love as well.
Thank you, Scott. And so let us start. And I will just call you by your name when we go around. And if you are not ready to share, you can also pause and say, maybe you want to share later. And sometimes it's also possible just to hold the talking piece and to be silent if nothing comes up. So it's beautiful also to to let us bear witness to the silence of a person. Every silence is different. And it can be very beautiful just to bear witness to the silence of someone. Because the importance is often also behind the words. So let us listen so deeply that we can also listen behind the words. So I have at my right side Scott. May I pass you my talking piece?
Thank you. Yeah, just Scott, just feeling the just really positive, loving energy here. And thank you so much for your share. So many pieces there. I've been involved with council through rites of passage work, Vision Quest, which was introduced to me about 10 years ago, and it was just a special tool and something so different than the deep listening rather than having to respond, and something sacred. And it's just grown. And then when I started the path of Zen, and then someone brought this in from, they were also attending these, and I was like, wow, what a beautiful merging of the two. And so just feeling the joy of that, and appreciating learning more, just feeling joy and pumped up that these tools are merging together. And thank you so much for all the pieces you brought in. So touched on and the applications that you brought in, from bringing into family to teaching to, wow, healing of the different retreats. It's beautiful work. So thank you. And I'll pass it. Yeah. And I pass the talking stick, correct?
Yes, please.
Okay. Noam, I'm going to pass this to you.
I'm very happy to be here. I have known about Zen peacemakers for a long time, but only recently had enough capacity to start attending events. And I'm very moved by, I've participated in things like this in my life, but I'm very happy to be here and learn of this tradition. What is on my mind right now, what is in my heart right now is a lot of grief about what is happening in Gaza. Most of my family lives in Israel. And I have a very complicated relationship with them and with what is happening. Last week, I was fortunate to be able to be on retreat. And one of the practices that I found really helpful was to take a moment before I ate anything to wish that all beings, and especially those in Gaza, would have the kind of plentiful and delicious food that I'm privileged to have. So thank you for listening, and I will pass to Jeff.
Yes, please, Dylan.
Thank you. This is a wonderful overview. And you mentioned something about sometimes there's an inner circle and an outer circle, and the outer circle is just listening. And I'm wondering, how do you decide when to do two circles like that? Or when you have a large number of people, do you break up into separate circles? So just any guidance or pointers on that would be very helpful. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dylan. It's very helpful if, for example, when I do silent retreats, I always do counsel also in silent retreats. It's very beautiful to do that. And when we have, for example, 24 people, I make 2 circles. The inner circle will share in one day, and the outer circle is listening. And at the end of the circle, just bearing witness, just sharing what they heard, never adding something else. And the next day, this outer circle will sit inside, and the circle who was inside will be outside and will do the same. Or, for example, in schools, it's very helpful to have like different groups listening to each other. And then we do it in the same evening so that both circles can really listen to each other. But it gives a much more intimacy if you have then, for example, the parents together in the inner circle and the teachers outside, and then the teachers together inside. So you can do it in a family also. For example, to have the children first inside and then the children outside and the parents inside. You can really be very creative with a lot of different ways to do it. And there is this wonderful book from the center of Ojai. It's called The Way of Counsel, where you find a lot of more information and more variation of the way to work with it. It's a very good book, and we also had it in German language, but now it's no more available in German, but the English version is still available. There are also you can also do fishbowl counsel, where you have an outer circle and 2 persons who have a conflict together sit in the middle of the circle on 2 chairs. And the first person will share their view of the situation. And then the second person is only listening. And after a while, just mirroring what he or she heard. And then the seats are changed. And the outer circle is just there to offer the container. And maybe if the participants in the middle want to get a mirror of what was shared, they can ask for. But it's also possible that just the listener makes it more possible to give more space and more discipline also for the people who have a conflict together. It's a very helpful way also to support conflicts. And it's a wonderful way also to give transparency in communities. So transparency is so important to have peace in sanghas, in groups. And this, I mean, counsel in any way also gives a lot of transparency, which is very important, I think. So I thank you all. Yes, Rosa?
Yes, I do have, well, I want to thank you for the nice presentation and the nice practice. And I have a question regarding when people are participating on the council, if for any reason there is one person that is not feeling well, or I don't know, feels really moved, or it cannot go on, it is allowed to abandon the circle, or which is the process or the procedure for that?
Usually, if that happens, a person will go with this person out of the circle. Yeah, it is. Sometimes it can happen. Usually, we don't let people out of the circle, or they should come as soon as possible back. We even did that with our children. We said, when you run away, you have a moment to calm yourself, but you have to come back. This was one of our rules. And we don't throw the talking piece to each other's head. This was also one of the rules in our family. So rules are very important to make the circle safe. But if somebody does not feel well, it's good to have another person who will go with this person and take good care. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. I think the hour is over. I give over to Jeff.
Oh, thank you so much, Barbara. This was wonderful. Before everyone goes, I just want to remind you all, be sure to go to the website and sign up for the newsletter. We offer counsel pretty much every week. In fact, as an example, Barbara will be leading counsel on Friday, and we try to offer some specific formats. So Barbara does a women-only counsel. Barbara, monthly or every 2 weeks?
Monthly. And this Friday, another person will do it because I will not be there. But usually I do it every month. Yes.
Very
this
good.
Is because I will not be there.
Monday, we have counsel for mental health workers on the 27th. We have counsel that's open to everybody, and another one on September 3rd. So there's no prerequisite, there's no requirement of any experience beforehand. They're free, they're open to everyone. So take advantage of this. It's really important to us that we offer this. So we hope to see you at one of our council sessions. And with that, we'll say thank you all.
Please, Jeff, let us do the dedication.
I'm so sorry. Yes, of course.
Yeah,
I got carried away with announcements.
Yes, no problem. So I would love to dedicate it to all people who are suffering in this way, in this moment on our earth. May they be healed. May healing will appear. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jeff.